In a world drowning in relationship advice and dating apps, we're more confused about love than ever before. Our phones buzz with notifications promising connection, yet deep down, something feels off. Lewis, one of the 20th century's most profound thinkers, saw this coming decades ago. You're about to discover 5 dangerous ways modern society twists and distorts what love really means. These aren't just abstract ideas. They're affecting your relationships right now, whether you realize it or not. In his masterpiece, The Four Loves, Lewis didn't just write about love, he dissected it, examined it under a microscope, and revealed truths that are even more relevant today than when he first wrote them. What he found might shock you. It certainly shocked me. Think about your last relationship, or the one you're in right now. Something's shifted in how we view love, hasn't it? The patterns are subtle, but devastating. They creep into our minds through movies, social media, and popular culture. They reshape our expectations without us even noticing. But here's what makes this video different. We're not just going to point out problems. We're going to expose these 5 modern distortions of love and show you exactly how they're affecting your life. By the end of this video, you'll understand why so many relationships today feel hollow, and more importantly, what you can do about it. This isn't just another relationship video, it's a warning backed by one of history's most brilliant minds about how our modern world is quietly destroying our ability to love truly and deeply. The insights you're about to learn could radically change how you think about love, relationships, and connection. Get ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about love. These 5 distortions are more dangerous than you think, but once you see them, you can't unsee them. And let's dive in. Modern society sells us a powerful lie about love, that it's all about feelings, about that spark, that magical rush of emotions. Social media feeds overflow with quotes about following your heart, letting emotions guide you, and chasing passionate feelings. But Lewis saw through this deception decades ago, warning us about reducing love to mere sentiment. In The Four Loves, Lewis challenges this emotional reductionism head-on. Love isn't just what we feel, it's what we choose, what we build, what we practice. By treating love as pure emotion, society has created a generation of relationship nomads, wandering from one emotional high to another, never finding lasting satisfaction. Raw emotions are like waves on an ocean. They rise and fall, surge and retreat. When feelings become love's sole foundation, relationships crumble as soon as emotional intensity fades. Lewis points out how this obsession with emotional love creates impossible expectations. People chase an endless emotional peak, mistaking intensity for depth. Statistics show modern relationships increasingly dissolve once initial passion cools. Dating apps capitalize on this, promising endless opportunities for new emotional highs. But Lewis recognized that authentic love must transcend pure emotion. Real love emerges when feelings intertwine with choice, commitment, and action. Most relationship problems today stem from this fundamental misunderstanding. Couples panic when butterflies fade, assuming love has died. Friends drift apart when warm feelings cool, rather than choosing to nurture connection. Parents question their love for children during difficult phases, forgetting that love transcends fleeting emotions. Lewis's wisdom cuts through these misconceptions. While emotions play their part, reducing love to pure feeling strips it of its transformative power. True love shapes us precisely because it demands more than emotional response. It requires conscious choice, dedicated practice, and committed action. This distortion manifests in countless ways. Relationships discarded at first sign of emotional cooling, marriages abandoned when feelings fluctuate, friendships dissolved over temporary emotional distance. Society's emphasis on following your heart sounds romantic, but often translates to follow your feelings wherever they lead, regardless of commitment or consequence. Lewis argues that emotions should inform love, but never control it. Like skilled musicians who practice regardless of mood, true love persists through emotional peaks and valleys. It's sustained by choice, strengthened by commitment, and expressed through action, not just feeling. Breaking free from emotion-based love requires recognizing its limitations. Emotions enrich love, but cannot sustain it alone. By embracing love's fuller dimensions, choice, commitment, action, and yes, emotion, relationships develop deeper roots that weather life's storms. Society's fixation on emotional love reflects deeper cultural shifts, prioritizing immediate gratification, avoiding discomfort, and seeking constant stimulation. But lasting love requires embracing all seasons, both emotional springs and winters, while maintaining steady commitment through each phase. Modern culture celebrates freedom above all else, especially freedom from commitment. Dating apps promise endless options. Relationship labels become increasingly fluid. Commitment gets branded as restrictive, limiting, old-fashioned. Yet Lewis identified this commitment phobia as a critical distortion of love's true nature. Swipe culture embodies this phenomenon perfectly. Millions scroll through potential partners, always wondering if someone better awaits one more swipe away. Studies show how this mentality bleeds into real relationships. People struggle to commit fully, keeping one foot outdoor, ready to bail when difficulties arise. Lewis saw commitment not as love's prison, but as its gateway to depth. Without commitment, love remains shallow, never developing roots deep enough to weather life's storms. Modern attitudes frame commitment as loss of freedom, but Lewis argued it actually enables love's fullest expression. Fear of missing out drives this commitment avoidance. What if better options exist? Commitment issues manifest beyond romantic relationships. Friendships become disposable. Family bonds weaken. Research confirms Lewis's insights. Committed relationships consistently correlate with greater life satisfaction, better mental health, and stronger support systems. Yet society increasingly views commitment as unnecessary baggage, praising instead flexibility and keeping options open. Dating culture particularly reflects this shift. Talking stage extends indefinitely. Labels get avoided. Exclusivity discussions trigger anxiety. People date multiple partners simultaneously, claiming fear of limitation. But Lewis identified how this approach prevents love from maturing beyond initial stages. Without commitment, relationships lack foundation for growth. Trust builds slowly when partners reserve right to leave anytime. Vulnerability feels risky when connections stay tentative. Depth develops gradually through shared experiences, challenges overcome together, and mutual investment in shared future. Lewis emphasized commitment as active choice, renewed daily. Modern culture frames commitment as passive feeling, valid only while convenient. This misunderstanding leads many to abandon relationships when commitment feels challenging, rather than recognizing these moments as opportunities for love's deepening. Social media amplifies commitment phobia, constantly highlighting alternatives. Friends' carefully curated highlights trigger comparison. Dating apps promise better matches. FOMO intensifies, making commitment seem increasingly risky. Yet Lewis noted how avoiding commitment ultimately risks missing love's richest experiences. Fear drives commitment avoidance. Fear of wrong choices. Fear of missing opportunities. Fear of vulnerability required for deep connection. But Lewis argued these fears reveal love's significance rather than justifying its avoidance. Commitment matters precisely because love transforms us, requiring courage to choose one path while letting others go. Breaking free from commitment phobia starts with recognizing its costs. Surface-level connections multiply while deep bonds decrease. Relationships stay stuck in preliminary phases. Love's transformative power remains untapped. Society celebrates freedom of choice while overlooking how commitment itself enables love's fullest freedom. What's in it for me? Echoes through modern relationships like never before. Self-improvement culture, personal growth mantras, and individualistic mindsets have transformed love into a self-serving pursuit. Lewis foresaw this shift, warning how making self-fulfillment love's primary goal ultimately destroys its essence. Popular culture bombards us with messages about finding someone who completes us, meets our needs, or makes us better. Dating profiles list demanding requirements. Relationship advice focuses on personal satisfaction. Even marriage vows increasingly emphasize individual happiness over mutual service. Lewis pointed out how this self-centered approach creates impossible expectations. Partners become responsible for our happiness, growth, and fulfillment. When they inevitably fall short, relationships crumble. Modern divorce rates partly reflect this burden, expecting another person to be source of our complete fulfillment. Social media intensifies this distortion. Influencers promote relationships as personal brand enhancement. Dating coaches teach strategies for maximizing personal benefit. Self-help gurus frame love primarily as path to self-actualization. Lewis saw how this mindset turns relationships into transactions rather than transformations. Research shows increasing narcissistic traits across generations, particularly regarding relationships. People approach dating with extensive checklists, seeking partners who enhance their lifestyle rather than opportunities for genuine connection and mutual growth. Lewis identified this attitude as love's counterfeit masquerading as affection. Marriage statistics reveal concerning patterns. Couples who prioritize personal fulfillment over mutual commitment report lower satisfaction long-term. Relationships focused on individual benefit rather than shared purpose show higher instability. Lewis anticipated these outcomes, noting how self-sensitive love inevitably disappoints. Paradoxically, pursuing self-fulfillment through relationships often leads to deeper dissatisfaction. When personal happiness becomes primary goal, partners feel constant pressure to maintain others' satisfaction. Natural relationship fluctuations trigger panic. Normal challenges become relationship-threatening crises. Lewis emphasized love's inherently outward focus. True love looks beyond self, seeking others' good regardless of personal benefit. Modern culture reverses this, treating relationships primarily as vehicles for self-enhancement. Dating apps exemplify this shift. The profiles showcase personal brands, seeking matches who complement individual. Career-grown society amplifies this distortion. Relationships get evaluated through cost-benefit analysis. Partners must fit perfectly into pre-existing life plans. Any sacrifice or compromise feels like personal loss rather than love's natural expression. Lewis saw how this approach prevents love's deepest joys, found in giving rather than self-fulfillment. Obsession creates perpetual restlessness. Partners get replaced when they no longer serve personal growth. Relationships end when individual paths diverge. Commitment wavers when personal comfort requires sacrifice. Lewis noted how this approach keeps love shallow, preventing its maturation into something greater than individual. Breaking free requires radical perspective shift. Love flourishes when focus moves outward, beyond personal benefit. Relationships deepen through mutual sacrifice, shared purpose, and commitment transcending individual gain. Modern culture fights this truth, yet relationship studies consistently confirm Lewis's insights. Authentic love transforms precisely because it challenges self-fulfillment. Growth comes through giving, not just receiving. Fulfillment emerges as byproduct of genuine care for others, not primary pursuit. Lewis understood this paradox. Seeking self-fulfillment through love ultimately prevents both, while loving others authentically brings unexpected personal growth. Society increasingly separates love from truth, claiming real love accepts everything without question or discernment. Love is love becomes universal answer to complex moral questions. But Lewis recognized this disconnection between love and truth as deeply problematic, distorting both in process. Modern culture equates love with unconditional approval. Challenging any behavior gets labeled judgmental. Speaking truth risks being seen as unloving. Yet Lewis argued genuine love must be grounded in truth. Otherwise, it becomes mere sentiment, unable to truly serve those we claim to love. Parents struggle with this distortion daily. Setting boundaries feels harsh. Maintaining standards seems cruel. Correcting misbehavior triggers guilt. But Lewis pointed out how love without truth fails children, depriving them of guidance needed for genuine growth and character development. Relationship dynamics suffer similarly. Partners avoid difficult conversations, fearing truth might damage connection. Red flags get ignored in name of acceptance. Critical feedback remains unspoken. Lewis saw how this approach prevents relationships from maturing, keeping them stuck in superficial harmony while deeper issues fester. Social media amplifies this problem. Support comes through automatic likes and generic affirmations. Friend groups prioritize harmony over honesty. Meaningful dialogue gets replaced by shallow validation. Lewis warned against this tendency, noting how real love sometimes requires speaking uncomfortable truths. Research shows concerning trends in conflict avoidance. Couples report increasing difficulty addressing problems directly. Friend groups fragment over unspoken tensions. Family relationships remain surface level, avoiding deeper issues. Lewis identified how separating love from truth ultimately damages relationships it claims to protect. Professional relationships reflect similar patterns. Feedback gets sugar-coated beyond recognition. Performance issues go unaddressed. Team dynamics suffer while everyone maintains polite fiction. Lewis emphasized how genuine care requires courage to speak truth, even when uncomfortable. Marriage counselors report growing challenges helping couples navigate truth-telling. Partners struggle balancing honesty with kindness. Minor issues grow major through avoidance. Lewis recognized how love without truth creates illusion of connection while preventing genuine intimacy. Friend groups increasingly splinter over inability to handle disagreement. Different viewpoints trigger automatic distance. Challenging conversations get avoided entirely. Lewis saw how this approach prevents love's deepening through honest dialogue and mutual growth. Cultural messaging reinforces this separation. Good vibes only mentality discourages authentic expression. Differing opinions get treated as personal attacks. Truth-telling gets branded as negativity. Lewis noted how this mindset creates shallow relationships incapable of handling life's real challenges. Breaking free requires recognizing truth and love as complementary, not contradictory. Speaking truth without love becomes harshness. Loving without truth becomes enablement. Lewis argued for integration, truth spoken in love, love expressed through truth. Modern discomfort with truth reflects deeper cultural shifts. Moral relativism makes truth claims feel inappropriate. Individualism treats personal feelings as highest authority. Conflict avoidance gets mistaken for kindness. Lewis saw how these trends prevent love from achieving its transformative potential. Authentic relationships require both truth and love working together. Truth without love crushes. Love without truth enables. Only together do they create environment for genuine growth and connection. Lewis understood this balance as essential for love's full expression. Comfort-obsessed culture increasingly portrays sacrifice as unnecessary, even unhealthy in relationships. Self-care mantras and personal boundaries dominate relationship discourse. While these concepts hold value, Lewis warned against removing sacrifice from love entirely, seeing it as essential rather than optional. Modern dating advice often warns against compromising personal preferences. Career ambitions take priority over relationship demands. Individual comfort levels become relationship boundaries. Yet Lewis identified how this attitude fundamentally misunderstands love's nature. Sacrifice isn't love's burden, but its natural expression. Research reveals declining willingness to endure relationship difficulties. Partners separate when happiness requires effort. Friendships fade when maintaining them becomes inconvenient. Family bonds weaken when staying connected demands sacrifice. Lewis saw this pattern as love's counterfeit, claiming love's benefits while avoiding its costs. Social media promotes relationships that add value without requiring investment. Dating profiles emphasize what individuals want rather than what they'll give. Relationship experts warn against sacrificing personal goals for partners. Lewis recognized how this mindset prevents love from developing beyond superficial connection. Marriage statistics show concerning trends. Couples increasingly cite unwillingness to compromise as reason for separation. Shared sacrifice for common goals decreases. Individual pursuits take precedence over mutual growth. Lewis anticipated these outcomes, noting how avoiding sacrifice ultimately prevents love's deepening. Professional success often comes at relationships' expense. Long hours strain connections. Relocations break community ties. Career advancement trumps relationship investment. Lewis pointed out how this prioritization reveals modern confusion about love's true value. Friend groups fragment under pressure of competing commitments. Maintaining friendships requires intentional effort many find too demanding. Community involvement decreases when personal comfort requires sacrifice. Lewis saw how this unwillingness to sacrifice prevents formation of lasting bonds. Parents struggle balancing personal desires with family needs. Children's demands feel burdensome rather than opportunities for love's expression. Sacrifice for family gets viewed as martyrdom rather than natural part of relationship. Lewis emphasized how this attitude misses joy found in giving oneself for others. Cultural messaging reinforces comfort-first mentality. Self-preservation gets prioritized over self-giving. Personal boundaries become shields against sacrifice rather than tools for healthy relationship management. Lewis warned how this approach prevents experiencing love's richest dimensions. Research confirms Lewis's insights about sacrifice's role in relationship satisfaction. Couples who share mutual sacrifice report stronger bonds. Friendships deepened through difficult seasons show greater resilience. Family relationships strengthened through shared challenges demonstrate lasting quality. Breaking free requires recognizing sacrifice as love's natural language rather than its opposite. Genuine love inherently moves toward giving, even when costly. Modern comfort obsession fights this truth, yet relationship studies consistently validate sacrifice's essential role in lasting connections. Lewis emphasized sacrifice not as love's burden, but its privilege, opportunity to express care through tangible action. Modern culture resists this perspective, treating all sacrifice as potential codependency. Yet research shows healthiest relationships balance self-care with willing self-giving. Authentic love naturally leads towards sacrifice because real connection inherently costs something: time, energy, comfort, convenience. Love demands investment beyond what serves immediate self-interest. Lewis understood this paradox. Avoiding sacrifice to preserve self ultimately prevents experiencing love's fullest expression. Strong relationships emerge through shared sacrifice toward common purpose. Partners growing through challenges overcome together. Friendships deepened by showing up in difficult seasons. Family bonds strengthened through mutual support despite personal cost. Lewis saw how willingness to sacrifice opens door to love's profound transformative power. Modern society's distortions of love run deeper than most realize. Through Lewis's profound insights from the four loves, we've uncovered 5 dangerous ways our culture twists love's true nature, each leaving relationships more fragile and superficial than ever before. Pure emotion without commitment creates relationship nomads, always chasing next feeling but never finding lasting connection. Commitment phobia keeps relationships shallow, preventing love's natural deepening through dedicated choice and persistent action. Self-fulfillment obsession turns relationships transactional, missing love's transformative power found in giving rather than getting. Separating love from truth creates illusion of connection while preventing genuine intimacy. Without truth, love becomes mere sentiment, unable to guide, grow, or genuinely serve those we claim to care about. And perhaps most significantly, modern comfort-first mentality resists sacrifice essential to love's authentic expression. These distortions didn't appear overnight. They crept in gradually through cultural shifts, social media influence, and changing relationship patterns. But Lewis's warnings prove remarkably prophetic. Each distortion he identified now clearly visible in modern relationship struggles. Breaking free starts with recognition. Seeing these patterns allows choosing different paths. Real love integrates emotion with commitment, truth with acceptance, self-giving with healthy boundaries. It grows through challenges, deepens through sacrifice, and transforms. Society will likely continue promoting these distortions. Dating apps will promise endless options without commitment. Self-help gurus will frame relationships primarily as paths to personal fulfillment. Social media will encourage shallow connections over deep bonds. But, armed with Lewis's insights, we can choose differently. True love remains possible, but requires swimming against cultural currents. Choosing commitment when society celebrates options. Speaking truth when culture demands blind acceptance. Embracing sacrifice when comfort beckons. Making these choices opens door to love's profound transformative power. If this analysis resonated, take a moment to reflect on relationships in your life. Which distortions might be influencing your approach to love? What shifts might deepen your connections? What truths need speaking? What sacrifices await embracing? Before closing, quick invitation. This channel delivers deep insights into life's most important questions, drawing wisdom from history's greatest thinkers to illuminate modern challenges. If you found value here, please support our mission by hitting subscribe button below. Each like helps spread these crucial messages further. Drop thoughts in comments. Which distortion impacts you most? How do you see these patterns playing out in relationships around you? Your insights enrich this important conversation. Together, we can rediscover love's true nature, not through following cultural trends, but by embracing timeless wisdom that transforms lives and relationships. Click subscribe now to join this journey toward deeper understanding and more authentic connection. Next week, we'll explore another profound insight from history's greatest minds. Until then, remember, real love transcends feeling, commits despite fear, gives without demanding, speaks truth in kindness, and finds joy in sacrifice. Stay curious, friends.